Question: how could so much talent be in one room? I know. Well, excluding me, of course. Back in a minute. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and my channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. I'm going to pull in a bunch of talent, and I really hope that my technology works out. Hang on. Yay, there they are.
Yay!
Okay, on my left, I guess that would be my left and your right, we have Lynn Wilson from the At Home with
Hello.
Lynn Wilson channel. Below, we have Money Mom from Centsible Living with Money Mom. And of course, Steve Young from the Steve Young 74 channel. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing
Wonderful.
good.
Yay! I want to thank all of you, the viewers, and everyone sitting here for being here tonight. One thing we all have in common, we like to share some pretty good tips and tricks. And we're going to get started right away with Dawn, Money Mom, who's going to ask Lynn Wilson a question. Ready?
Yes, I am ready. Thank you, Jan, and thank you, Lynn and Steve, for your time. I want to say I've been following Lynn now for a while, and I heard about her through Jan, and I even posted one of her fabulous videos on my community tab that got a lot of views.
Thank you.
About stockpiling food if you only have $5. I think it's one of Lynn's best videos. And
Thanks.
My question to Lynn is about stockpiling, which Lynn seems to have a lot of knowledge on this topic, and I know I need help in this area. Is there an easy method that anyone can follow in reference to keeping their stockpile organized, less food waste, right?
Absolutely. I've been recently tweaking my own stockpile because I need to reorganize. And I think that's one of the top priorities you need to do is constantly realize your stockpile needs to evolve with where you are in life, who's in your family, what food you're now stocking, and all the rest. We have three categories. We have our everyday home pantry, we have our overflow stockpile, and then we have a third area, which we call our emergency 2 week. God forbid we're out of food completely, can't get out of the house. Then we have our stockpile for emergencies. We will rotate, go through the pantry. I shop once a month. I keep my pantry full for a month's worth of food. Once I'm done there, I then go to my stockpile and I go grocery shopping there. And if I really am stuck from the stockpile, I then go to the emergency food and I will rotate them that way. So the emergency food gets put into the stockpile gets put into the full pantry. And this way, I always have the fresh, most up to date at the back end and the stuff that I need to use up in the beginning end. That's number one. And number two is go through your stockpile, I'd say once every 3 months, once a quarter, and go through what am I no longer using. Maybe found out you're allergic to tomatoes and you have 20 cans of tomatoes. Maybe get rid of that. Or there's a food you bought you don't like, or you're on a new diet and certain things you just can't handle anymore. Get rid of stuff that's wasted space to make room for what you really need.
That's
Amazing.
excellent.
Amazing. I just want to mention something that, Lynn, I love that
Yes.
you mentioned the emergency separation, because Steve and I are aware that some people that we might know might be a little bit actually afraid to use their own stockpile and feeling a
Yes.
little bit guilty. I know this wasn't on the questions, but how do we handle feeling guilty about using the stockpile? Would you give that some thought and want to come back to that question later, or?
No, I could jump in because I am guilty of that. There are times where first of all, it looks beautiful. I take a lot of pride in this gorgeous thing that's called the stockpile, and you're fearful of using it. What if I need the food next week? What if? I've had to remove the what if and say, what now? What do I need right now to feed myself, my family? What's happening? I never know what happens tomorrow, and our stockpile is there to help for the future, but we never know if tomorrow's even going to come. So stop being fearful of the tomorrows and realize today is the day you're living. And I think the more that I say that to myself, that today is the day I'm here. I need to eat so that I can be well enough for tomorrow. Somehow, there's always enough. And that's another phrase I use often. There is always enough. Your stockpile, you're not down to your last can. If you are, then we have another topic on another show we can go over. But using your stockpile, and if you're constantly rotating and refilling it, you should be just fine to use it. There's always enough, and don't be fearful of the tomorrows. You got to live in today.
Oh my gosh, nobody could have said it better than that. Thank you so much, Lynn. Now I have a specific question for you, Lynn, too.
Yes.
Lynn, what's one of the biggest mistakes that we should try to avoid when building up a grocery stockpile?
Well, shopping sales, and I say that for this reason. We'll say, oh, tuna fish is on sale, and we'll buy 50 cans of tuna. In the meantime, you don't have mayonnaise or you don't have cans of vegetables and so on. We have to have a balance. So, as good as the sales are, you need to always remember keep everything in balance. First of all, your budget, the size of the area that you're storing it in, and what do you really eat? Do you really eat that much tuna or that many cans of green beans or that much whatever that product might be? It's a good sale, maybe get a few things, but always keep in mind you have to have a balance in your stockpile, balancing your budget, balancing your space, and balancing the types of foods because you want to be able to make a full meal, not just live on a can of corn. As good as corn is and as great as the sale might have been, you want to be able to spend your money on a variety of things.
Wow. I like the way, like you mentioning about the balancing. That is so true. Now, Steve, we're going to completely switch gears with Steve Young from the Steve Young 74 channel. I want to mention something. Just recently, Steve Young 74 had an absolutely amazing video about repurposing. So many people just flooded over to that video. Thank you for that, Steve. But I understand you even, in addition to that, you have even more repurposing. So if you'd like to mention a couple of more tips and tricks about repurposing, that would be amazing.
Well, what I have here has to do with hydrogen peroxide. I have a couple. You can use 50% water to 50% hydrogen peroxide to disinfect sponges in the kitchen. Sponges harbor bacteria, and this helps get rid of it. Another one is spray hydrogen peroxide using lint-free cloth for shiny mirrors.
Oh, wow.
And then the only other tip I have a couple that has to do with Vicks Vapo Rub. If you have it, then you can have access to a lot of useful tricks by keeping an open jar outside on a hot. Initially, what it does, it'll act as a bug repellent and keep the bugs away.
Oh, nice.
Another one is if you have achy muscles, you can also rub it on to help relieve some of the tension or issues that you may be having with that.
That's great. What I love about this type of subject matter. These are repurposing, right? Right, Money Mom, right, Lynn, and of course,
Yes,
Steve,
absolutely.
we paid for these things
Yes.
already. We're helping in our own individual way to save the planet by extending the life of something that. And I remember my mom, Steve, I want to mention you regarding the Vicks Vapor Rub. When my mom had a little bit of a headache, believe me or not, she would put like a little bit on top of her forehead and it would vanish very soon. So,
Oh,
yes,
Another tip.
never thought of
amazing,
I like that.
amazing. Oh, thank you so much. Guys, I just want to mention regarding to Lynn specifically for a moment, okay? The At Home with Lynn Wilson show, it is a channel, not show, excuse me, channel. It is about basically everyday living. This is not, even though there might be some shows, like a few about stockpiling, this is not just the stockpiling channel. So I just want to let you know, there's so many tips and tricks that you give, Lynn. I mean, like for example, with the elbow pasta, every time I
Yes,
eat elbow
yes.
pasta, I can't help but think of you. What do I mean by that? Lynn, tell everyone, why do you think it's great to get elbow pasta specifically?
I think you get double for your money. Anytime I used it, I could get 3 meals out of a box of elbow macaroni. Where if I do bow ties or penne or something like that, I get a meal. So if you're paying the same price, go for it. You get more for your, more bang for your buck, as you would say.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. So, does anyone have anything else that they would like to add
I have
before?
a question,
Yes,
if it's okay. Now,
sure.
Lynn, if you, and I know this is a little off topic of stockpiling, but I've been told by many of my fabulous subscribers that people can really save money, and this seems common sense, if you shop less, or, if maybe there are videos out there, my once a month grocery haul. I didn't know that you only grocery shopped once a month. I do think there could be significant savings about that. Can you expand? And is it okay to ask, since inflation, have you increased your budget? I don't know if it's okay to ask that question, but if it, tell us about the once a month grocery shopping.
So that was for me.
Yes.
Okay. So I started once a month because I used to get paid once a month. Now I get paid twice a month, but I still find that the once a month for me, I go,
Trying
I
to get
get what I
everybody in
need,
the picture. Forgive me. I'm sorry.
and
It's a
that's
technical
okay.
issue.
For me to
Technical
shop
problems.
once a month, I find I do spend less. I make a list. I know what I need. I do fillers, like I might have to go get fresh milk or something like that. But the bulk of what I need, I know my menu. I know, how many days in a week I'm going to need food for, and it just really, I save more money. I'm not in the store as much, and you're asking about my budget since inflation. I'm probably the only one on the planet that has literally cut my budget in half for food.
Wow.
I
Wow.
have a full pantry. I've worked hard for the last 3 years to build it, and I'm finding that we are being more diligent on how we eat our food, how we repurpose it, using up all the bits and pieces for leftovers and do overs, as Jan says. And I don't need as much. I'm not being wasteful. And because of that, I'm not needing to buy as much. And living out of the pantry and using up what I have, I've literally cut my bill in half for the past 2 months.
I
That's
love that. I
amazing.
love that. Amazing.
I
Excuse
hope
me,
you'll do
Steve. Do
more
you have
videos
anything
on
else you
this.
want to add? Steve, anything else you might want to add, or we're all
Um,
good?
well, the only other thing I can throw in would be maybe a recipe. Um,
Sure.
Now I've already done a video on it. It's actually two recipes. I'll go ahead and share. One, this comes from a good friend of mine, and I had seen it done so many times that I learned how to make it. And all it is four ingredients: potato soup. So all you have to do is you boil up some potatoes. You cut them up into a half-inch dices, and you boil it. And the way that I check for doneness is I take a fork, and if it goes all the way through, the potato's done. Then I drain the water. You get your milk. You cover it just above the potatoes. One stick of butter, and then you add, you melt the butter. Then you add potato flakes to it, and you want to keep it on like low, medium, high heat, and you want to stir in the potato flakes and keep adding. Now you don't want it to be too thick while you're making it, because while the soup sits, it will slightly thicken. So what I do is I try to get it somewhere around a gravy consistency in that ballpark, and then I don't add any more potato flakes. I turn it off, sit for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then I just go ahead and add it to my bowl. And I like to put
Yum.
I like to
Budget friendly.
I
I
like
love
I
that.
like, I like to put black pepper on it, and then I eat it that way. Another recipe I have, also from a good friend, is you take elbow macaroni or egg noodles. You can take ground turkey or ground beef. You cook that up. A can of cream of chicken soup, family size. What you do, You cook your hamburger meat, your pasta, whichever one you use, drain the water, add it to the meat mixture, add your cream of chicken family size soup mix, and you just stir it in. Again, low medium heat, and you're done. If you don't want to go that route, you could always use cream of mushroom or cream of celery. I guess you could use any type of cream of soup mix or canned soup that you want, and that's it. And that's not all that expensive either.
Sounds
I
great.
love those ideas. That is so great. Recently I realized, and some people may remember this from my meatloaf recipe the other day, and I called it a dump meatloaf, which does not sound very pretty, like you think of garbage dump, But it was so right. It was so good though. Did it all in the one pan. And at the last minute, I said, I don't want ketchup in this. I don't want tomato sauce in it. And it came to my mind a light bulb to put in Campbell's condensed tomato soup. So
I
I
love
entered
that.
that. I know. Really? So
I did.
you did? Did you like it?
I did.
Oh, good. So as I always say, entered that. I don't know why I keep saying that. I added that. ADDED. Added that. Anyway, I mushed it up, threw it in the oven, 350, 40 minutes. It was perfection. I have to try it with cream of mushroom soup. By the way, Steve, you're inspiring me. Just changing one flavor changes the whole thing. I want to thank everyone so kindly for being here. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, ladies. It's wonderful to see you in person, like talking in person like this. And thank everyone here for coming back. I want to come back with a wave. Just let me get my outro. But tonight I'm going to do something different, not the traditional outro. I'm going to do it again like the intro. Don't ask me why. There was a technical glitch, but it works. Listen, everyone, have an amazing, fantastic night. By the way, please visit everyone's channel. Please go over to the At Home with Lynn Wilson channel. Please visit the Steve Young 74 channel. Of course, Sensible Living with Menemon. I'm going to link up videos on the bottom, so please check them out. Check out their channel. So nice to see everyone. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.